We're on to day 3 of the draft, but who are the best available prospects? Oh, you're in good luck because I'm about to tell you. Let's go ahead and get into this sucker with number 1, Mason McCormick, guard out of South Dakota State. Guess the NFL just doesn't feel about him like I feel about him. I think he was a top 40 prospect, at the very least a top 50 prospect for me. He's got guard size, but with his length, I think he can moonlight at tackle, especially with his athletic ability, but his best fit is probably guard. Could play center as well. He showed that during the Shrine Bowl. And I got TJ Tampa. I'm a little shocked TJ Tampa is still available here in round 4, but I imagine he'll be quickly off the board because he's got great size, great length, good quick feet, but does maybe feel a little bit more scheme specific, so may have been reason for his fall. Jaden Hicks, this was a safety class that, quite frankly, you had maybe about 7 or 8 top guys, and everyone and their mom had him ranked in all kinds of different orders. So not too surprised to see him fall. He was my top safety in this class. Then I saw safety 2 go off the board, safety 3. Then I had a couple of others like Cole Bishop and Cameron Kitchens. So I imagine he comes off the board fairly quickly. Troy Franklin might be the big surprise for a lot of people. Like, oh man, what happened to Troy Franklin? Did he have like a gas mask video released prior to the draft? But I mean, his last season at Oregon, while statistically kind of on par with his initial year as a starter, it did come with a little hiccups. Like, he's still lean, did get up weight, but still lean. But he's young. I'm not too worried about him putting on the size, but the ball skills dropped off drastically. The gauntlet drill wasn't exactly ideal there at the combine, so could be a part of his fall, part of a big reason of his fall. But I mean, it's a very good wide receiver class, so it's to be expected some of these guys were to fall. I'm going to talk about Javon Baker in a little bit, but Christian Mahogany falling out of day 2. He's probably one of my top guard prospects. Well, Mason McCormick, but Christian Mahogany, really good body strength, decent movement skills. He should find a home fairly quickly. Jaylen Wright, running back out of Tennessee, kind of a home run threat, but in that Tennessee offense, it's just not as translatable as the NFL. So you're going to worry about his vision when those holes are a little bit tighter. Is he going to be able to stay patient? Is he going to get bouncy? There are going to be those concerns. And then Javon Baker, really like Baker in terms of size, speed. He's a good vertical threat, really good hands. On top of that, good yak ability. Maybe they just see him as a big vertical receiver. But again, deep receiver class. Not surprised some of these guys would end up falling. And then Austin Booker, bit of more of a developmental prospect. So not too surprising in that regard. As you can see, man, I got a lot of guys with 3rd round grades still on the board here. But again, I mean, it goes back to this is a good class. Truly is. Got Rabbit Taylor Demerson. Doesn't have ideal size. You're going to worry about that translating in the NFL. Not too shocked that he ends up falling out of day 2. Bo Limmer, I assumed I was kind of me and maybe a few others were just a little bit higher on him than the NFL. He does look like maybe a center-only prospect because of limited length, but good play strength. Really tested out tremendously. And last year was his first year at center, and definitely the later part of the year was much better than what that beginning of the year looked like for him. Theo Johnson could be viewed more as a project there at tight end out of Penn State. Tested well, got prototypical tight end size, but the production just wasn't quite there outside of some red zone touchdowns. Spencer Rattler, quarterback. Didn't see a quarterback go on day 2. I imagine we're going to see fairly early, like Spencer Rattler. I'm sure I'm going to talk about Michael Pratt later on in this video, but Rattler, he's got an NFL arm. You kind of worry about him working inside a structure. Jarvis Brownlee Jr., corner out of Louisville. Kind of ideally more of a press man corner, but at his size, does he kick into the slot? I think he could honestly do both and be fine. Edifon Ilafosho, doesn't surprise me that he doesn't come off the board there in day 2, just because he's an older prospect with really only 1 full year of production. He did have some injuries as well, but he tested well, so I'd be very happy to get him if I were any team. Malik Washington, kind of like your prototypical, just he's going to be a slot guy in the NFL, so maybe that kind of pigeonholed him into a role. Then slot receivers, especially slot only guys, unless you're like exceptional, you're not going to go that high. So he probably comes off the board in the 4th, 5th round. Then I got Jaylen Carson. I was actually a little shocked that Jaylen Carson didn't come off the board relatively early. Corner out of Wake Forest, ideal size. Just kind of the knocks on him is maybe like the play strength. Like he's got that dog in him, but he did get kind of punked by bigger, more physical receivers and just doesn't turn around to play the football. Tanner Bordelin, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little bit shocked. I thought he would have been a surefire day 2 player in this draft, as he just has everything kind of the NFL loves. But yeah, he ends up falling down the board. So we got actually quite a few good centers. I'm going to talk probably about Hunter Norzad in a little bit. Johnny Wilson, what is he in the NFL? Is he a receiver? Is he a tight end? I don't know, but I mean, athletically, especially at his size, like that's rare. I'm willing to take a shot on him. I'm surprised no one did on day 2. Tez Walker didn't exactly have an ideal Senior Bowl week. It may have killed some of his stock there, and now he's going to find himself on day 3. Nehemiah Pritchett. I'm a big fan of Pritchett. Truly, truly am. More so than his teammate, DJ James, who I'm actually more shocked DJ James didn't go in round 2 or 3. But Pritchett's got better size. He can play press, but he's more of a, I think, better suited to be a off-coverage corner. Jatavion Sanders, I'm not too shocked that he fell. As just in terms of a physical, like the physicality, the play strength, it's really not there. Tight end level, I feel like you're more so working with a big slot. And even then, like it's not like his numbers were like anything crazy at the combine. Cam Hart, corner at Notre Dame. I love. Matter of fact, I'm going to talk about him and Kyrie Jackson in the same breath here. Jackson, a little bit older. Doesn't shock me that he fell to day 3, but both these guys are very, very strong, very long, very big corners that tested out well, that probably more ideal for a press system. Hart kind of gets the nod because he's about 2 years younger. Cedric Van Pran, another center here out of Georgia. I have a 4th round grade on. Now we're starting to get into my day 3 grades here, but I thought he could have maybe snuck into day 2. Like he's just good. I don't feel like he has any one trait that really truly sticks out. Like the play strength is fine, the athleticism is fine. Just I think that's what it is, man. He's just fine. Muhammad Kamara, edge out of Colorado State, another older prospect here, going to be 25 to begin his rookie year, but on top of that, lacks ideal size at 6'1", 248, lacks ideal length, but he's an absolute dog. He will play to and through the whistle. Tyrone Tracy, I knew he wasn't going to go that high. It's a running back that I fell in love with. I love the return ability, him being a receiver for 5 years of his collegiate career. So I love the pass catching ability. He's pretty solid as a pass protector. So, I mean, when he finds a home, man, he is like a, what do they call it in baseball? Like a 5-tool player or something like that. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not a baseball guy. Cade Stover, another guy that's just kind of like a fine tight end at Ohio State. And he's going to probably hear his name early in the 4th round. Like someone who would come in and be a really good tight end 2 for you. Ray Davis, running back out of Kentucky. Someone else who's like, hey, I don't know if he's a bell cow. I don't think he's like the main course when it comes to my running back room, but I'm happy that I have him. He's like one of those appetizers, someone who could be a really good early down back, really good vision, good burst. Then I got Chris Abrams-Drain, corner out of Mizzou. At his size, you think he's probably going to end up being in the slot, probably why he falls here, but I think he can maybe cut it outside. He plays with that dog in him, former receiver, so he's got some good ball skills. Cedric Gray, linebacker out of out of North Carolina, and I might as well talk about Jeremiah Trotter Jr. out of Clemson, both linebackers. Jeremiah Trotter just kind of like lacks ideal size and length and honestly athleticism for the position, or speed. I should say speed. I think that athleticism, like he's kind of a smooth mover, but shorter strides, long speed's probably not going to be great. Cedric Gray, man, I'm kind of shocked. I think he's more one of the more well put together linebackers in this class. Now I got Brendan Rice out of USC. This is Jerry's kid right here. Big receiver, big possession receiver. Again, in a receiver class that's so stacked, I'm not too shocked that he ends up falling down the board. Leonard Taylor, more of a project, didn't test as well as I was hoping. I don't know if even staying another year in Miami, because I feel like they were just misusing him. I don't know if that would have really helped his draft stock any, but any team that picks him up is getting a really good project. I've seen this man forklift 300-pounders. Running back out of Louisville, Isaac Guerrero. He is a bit of a project. Missed some time because of injury, but in terms of size and speed, he's got the caboodle. He's just someone that's like the vision's just not there yet. A lot of that is just a lack of reps. Brandon Dorless, I'm not shocked he fell. I'm really not. Just it's 6'3", 286. It's a very unique build. Where are you going to play him in the NFL? Like, I'm sure teams are just like kind of puzzled with that. I imagine he goes very early on day 3. DeMarion Richardson, corner out of Mississippi State. I love the size. I love the speed. A guy that played versus the SEC. I expect him to go very early on day 3 as well. But a little bit of inconsistencies in his play along with ball skills. Garrett Greenfield. Maybe I'm just higher on these South Dakota State guys than the general consensus. Maybe it's just me, but I think he's pretty well put together. He's a team captain. I think he can come in and be a very high-end backup. I got a couple of power backs here, Audric Estime and Braylon Allen. They're both relatively young. They both boast a very good size. I think Estime might end up being the better athlete. Allen, a little too bouncy for me, but again, at that size and with that youth, you don't mind trying to develop someone like that. Makai Wingo kind of falls into a similar bucket as Brandon Dorless, a very hard size to kind of project, but now he's dealing with less length and less height. But dude is explosive as hell, can go and get after it. Expect him to go relatively high in the 4th round. Josh Newton. Love this guy. Play speed's kind of whatevs. It is what it is, but I mean, it's not like it's awful. Not. I think he ran like a 4 here. I could look this up. I don't mind showing you all my rankings at this juncture, the draft point. 4.51. It's fine speed. It truly is, but he ends up falling in a very good corner class. Like the corner class for like rounds 4, 5, and 6, it's kind of chunky. It truly is. Like, this was a corner class where I was like, man, there's 25 guys I absolutely love, and I mean love, in this class. Got Hunter Norzad. Here's the other center, but he has experience all over the line day into his days back at, was it Cornell? Where was it? Yeah, it was Cornell. So dating back to his days at Cornell, and a guy that moves to a Power 5 conference showed that he can compete. Good movement skills, had a very strong week at the Shrine Bowl. I expect him to be in that early day 3 area. You got a project edge in Cedric Johnson. You like the size, you like the athleticism, you like the length, but again, someone who didn't really take that next step in his final year at Ole Miss. I got tight end Dallin Holker out of Colorado State. Absolutely love this guy. If you're not familiar with him, just turn on a highlight. This guy's got incredible hands, but at the end of the day, he's just kind of a meh athlete. Like, he's a smooth athlete, like a very functional athlete on the field. But Tesson wasn't that great size, not all that great at 6'3", 241. Running back out of Clemson, Will Shipley. He is probably one of the top receiving options at the running back position. I think fumbles probably kind of killed him for me, so I was like, yeah, I'd rather take him at the early parts of day 3. I got Christian Jones out of Texas. Apparently, the NFL maybe matches up where I met with him. I didn't see him as a day 2 prospect. A guy that is a bit of an older prospect. There's some things he could probably polish out of his game. Not a guy that's like gonna dominate you physically. Not a guy that's really gonna impress you athletically. Jordan McGee, linebacker at Temple. Little undersized, but he's got that dog in him. Super aggressive. Will fly around the field. Will lead to some missed tackles time and time again, but kind of is what it is. Jared Wiley, tight end out of TCU, tested out really well. The size is good. He's got room along his frame to put more meat on the bones, but just never really an inline option there at TCU or I think Texas. Hardly played at Texas, though. Michael Pratt, quarterback out of Tulane. He's got a good arm. It's not like a great arm. It's good. It's like a 6, maybe 6.5 at best. You kind of notice like the lack of zip on some of his throws, especially over the middle of the field, but brings plus mobility to the table, so I like that. Xavier Thomas, man, he's just lacks ideal length, but really good athlete. Had some productive years though there at Clemson that were kind of halted because of whether it was injury or I think he got Rona during the Rona year, but that also led to like a nasty, was it like strep throat? It was like some sort of illness. Yeah, it was strep throat. So he had to actually just straight up redshirt 2020, foot injury in 2022. So had a lot of stop starts when it came to his career at Clemson. Dominic Hampton, I love. This guy comes downhill with a head full of steam. Great athlete, great length, but ideally more of a box slot option. Got Jacob Cowan out of Arizona. We're now getting to the part in the draft where it's going to be a lot of slot receivers. A lot. Like the slot receiver class is actually pretty darn good. I was kind of hoping maybe he would have like a Tank Dell-esque Senior Bowl. He didn't. That's going to land you in day 3, unfortunately. Malik Mustafa out of Wake Forest. This dude comes down the hill wanting to kill somebody. I love it. He's such a smooth mover and honestly tested as a better athlete than I thought. So maybe even has some center field capabilities. Quantez Stiggers has one of the best journeys in this class, as he goes to Lane College, deals with tragedy, quits school. Eventually mom pushes him back into football where he gets his start back up in the fan-controlled football league, and he gets noticed by some of the CFL coaches there. They tell him to come try out for the CFL. Ends up being Rookie of the Year there, and since he was 4 years removed from high school, he was eligible for the draft. So I knew it was not going to be day 2 for him, but expect his name called somewhere early to mid day 3. Jalen Ford, linebacker at Texas, one of the few linebackers that has really good size, but I don't think he really has a there's not one thing he could hang his hat on. Not a great athlete. Some decent production in not a bad athlete. I don't want to make it sound like he's atrocious. He's not. But does have some ball production in coverage. But I won't say he's complete as a coverage player. Tommy Eichenberg, linebacker at Ohio State, kind of had a down year in 2023. Unfortunately, probably would have been a day 2 pick if he came out in 2023. I'll go over a few more here. We got Jaquan Jackson, slot out of Tulane. Again, just another good slot receiver. Honestly, at the Senior Bowl, that's really what put me on. I was like, this guy just moves so darn quick. Bucky Irvin, running back out of Oregon, just not ideal of an athlete at his size. When you're that small, you got to be a better athlete. You got to have better vision. I think his vision's fine. It's just not to that degree where it's you get by a Blake Corum or a Kyron Williams by being maybe not the best athlete while being a smaller running back. So those guys are just tough to bet on. Miles Harden, I really liked him at South Dakota. Could end up being a slot player in this class. A couple of injuries maybe causes him to fall And I'm not saying like this was a dude that should have gone on day 2, but like may cause him to be like a late day 3 prospect. I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. Curtis Jacobs tested out really well, especially at his size, 6'1", 241. Not a lot of linebackers in this class that are 240 plus, but just not as productive as you'd like to see there for a linebacker. Got Dylan Lobby, running back out of New Hampshire. Another one of the more premier receiving backs, and honestly, he's more put together as a receiver than he is a running back, I'd say. Jamari Thrash, love Thrash, a little bit undersized. Didn't test as fast as you'd want, but I guarantee you, like, he is fast on the field. He gives you yak ability. He gives you just a deep threat as well. Christian Boyd out of Northern Iowa, big fan of this guy. Not a lot of guys coming in at 320 plus in this defensive interior class. Might cause him to get drafted a little higher than where I have him. Just again, few guys with that type of size in this class. I mean, we saw McKinley Jackson, who I think I had in this 4th, 5th round area. I think I had him right around Christian Boyd. He ends up going because, again, not a lot of guys just have that size. Nelson Caesar had a fine career at Houston, but just, again, nothing really truly stuck out about him. These next 2 guys, Ryan Watts, Tyler Owens. Watts out of Texas, Owens out of Texas Tech. They're freaks. Owens a little bit more freakier, but I think Watts a little bit more put together as a player, though. Probably makes the move to safety, played corner basically his whole career, but they're projects that I'd be willing to take shots on. Kamani Vidal out of Troy. Absolutely love this cat. He is going to be a good committee back in the NFL. Like, you're going to want him a part of your running back committee. This is where I have DJ James. He's currently 68th best or top on my board. He got up to 181, but I think he was playing closer to like 170 there at Auburn. Plays with that dog in him. It's hard to bet on corners with that size without kicking them into the slot. I'd rather just another team draft him if I was given the option. MJ Devonshire comes with good length, really fast as well. Coming in at 6 foot, 189. You might remember him for the what was it? It was in 2022 season opener against West Virginia. He had the pick 6 to seal the win there for the Panthers. Got Taj Washington out of USC, another slot receiving option. Gabe Hall out of Baylor. Very athletic at his size and has the frame to put on more mass, more weight, but he's probably more viewed as just like a passing down option. And I'll rattle off a couple of other guys here. As I got Byron Hudson out of Louisville. I guarantee you he's going to go undrafted because he's a bit of a my guy. You want the play strength to be a bit better, but with his track background, I really like him as an athlete and him being able to put on a little bit more play strength. Because, I mean, it's kind of hard to stay in shape for 2 sports. Just is. Jacob Monk out of Duke. I actually like him better at guard than at center. I'm kind of curious to see how the NFL will view him. Javon Foster, a bit older of a prospect. I think he's got more like high end like backup potential than actual starting potential. Got Kidin Oladapo, probably one of the better box options in this class. Big fan, and I'll say Rasheen Ali. You can't see his name right here, but Adam Marshall, running back, tore his bicep unfortunately at the Senior Bowl. He tore his bicep. I think it was his bicep, but had an injury at the Senior Bowl, kept him out of essentially the rest of the offseason draft process. But you really like what he brings to the table athletically. A lot of fumbles in his career, though. Wouldn't surprise me if he ends up going UDFA. But let me know who are some of your favorite prospects still available here on day 3. If you want more draft content, I got draft grades out for day 2. And on top of that, me and Alex from Hail Mary Sports will be live streaming all of day 3. So buckle in. It's going to be a long ride. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.